How's everyone doing today? It's your boy JJ Domination, and holy crap, do we have some news for you. Before we get to that though, I do want to address like the channel right now. So yes, I'm gonna be uploading more videos talking about free agency. No, I'm not doing a million videos in a day. Why? Because news will just continue to come out like non-stop even after you upload a video. Like for example, yesterday I covered all of the trades that happened like on Sunday and Monday, and then like 2 hours after I got done recording it, Stephon Diggs gets traded to the Buffalo Bills. Now I have to make a video on that. So yes, I will be talking about the free agent like signings and stuff that went down. Trust me, I'll get to that. And then franchise tags, all of that. I'm gonna separate it by conference. So I'll be talking about AFC signings, NFC signings, and like the franchise tags. We're going to cover all of that. But for now, we're going to cover what happened with Tom Brady. The next video will be talking about Stephon Diggs to the Buffalo Bills, my thoughts on that trade. And then we'll talk about all of the free agent signings, like the notable ones that happened in the AFC per each team, and the notable ones that happened in the NFC per each team. So let's go ahead and talk about Mr. TB12 himself, Tom Brady. So Tom Brady has agreed in principle to sign a $30 million per year contract with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. As of recording this, I don't know if it's going to be a 1-year deal or a 2-year deal or, God forbid, a 3-year deal, but you would have to think it's probably going to be a 1-year deal, you know, with him going to Tampa. But if it is a 2-year deal, you know, good luck, I guess. You know, we'll see if Brady does end up following through about playing until he's 45, whatever. So yeah, this is huge. And I'll be honest, Tom Brady to Tampa Bay, TB to TB, it wasn't a thing that was on my radar. You know, it wasn't a thing that was on my radar whatsoever. So I got to give a shout out to the Bucs, and I have to give a shout out to people who actually predicted Tom Brady to go to the Bucs, or predicted the Bucs to be in on him, because he wasn't for me. The two teams that I had for Brady was going to be the New England Patriots and the Tennessee Titans. And once the Titans signed Ryan Tannehill back, which we will talk about in the AFC free agency signing videos when we break it down by team or whatever, you know, I pretty much thought, well, he might go back to the Patriots most likely, but I think the Chargers would be in play. So he doesn't go back to the Patriots, but we do see the Patriots like re-sign a few of their own players, and they also let guys like Kyle Van Noy leave. And then we see the Chargers like do a couple of things here and there. Mainly, they signed Brian Bulaga, which we will talk about. I hate to see him leave, but you know, for $10 million a year for a guy that can't stay healthy, you know, I kind of get it. But again, we'll save that for that video, notable free agency signings in the AFC per team. But yeah, Brady going to the Bucs. Chris Sims said not that long ago, I think a day or two ago, that it's gonna come down to the Bucs and the Patriots. He said that's what his people were telling him. And then you started hearing reports about, well, he could go to the Chargers. And apparently, like, you know, probably 30 minutes before the news came out, we heard that the Chargers are believed to not be in on Tom Brady. They kind of dropped out of the race, I guess, unofficially. And then, boom, the news comes out. Tom Brady ends up signing in principle to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So it's most likely a done deal. And I see some people saying that, you know, this doesn't necessarily give him the best shot at winning a title or having success. I just want to say, regardless of where he would have gone, you can make that argument, like, regardless. If he would have stayed with the Patriots, with, you know, everything staying the same way that it was, you know, just drafting and trying to replace, and a wide receiving core that looks good on paper but doesn't perform. If he would have stayed with the Patriots, you know, was that really going to give him the best shot at winning? If he would have went to the Tennessee Titans, you could make an argument there that would have been the best shot of him winning. But would it have been, though? I think that's something you have to consider. And then, you know, if he would have went to the Chargers, well, guess who he gets to play twice a year? Patrick Mahomes. and he gets to go up against Denver, who I think is a sleeper team on the rise, and they get to go up against Oakland, who made some good moves in free agency, which we will talk about when that video happens. So regardless of where Tom Brady would have signed, you could make that argument that, well, regardless of where he went, he wasn't going to have the most or the best odds of having the most success. I mean, listen, in the AFC, it's no secret. It's Kansas City, and then Baltimore, and then everyone else. That's basically what it is in the AFC. Say what you want about Baltimore. Oh, they didn't play well against Tennessee. Well, neither did the Patriots. Tom Brady's last throw as a Patriot was a pick six. So say what you want, to me, it's Kansas City, Baltimore, and everyone else. In the NFC, it's kind of wide open. I mean, I know the 49ers just made it last year, but we saw what happened to a team like the Rams. Now, I don't think they'll suffer the same fate as the Rams, but, the Rams were in the Super Bowl, and they just went, 9-7 this past season? So, geez. You know what I'm saying? I don't see that happening to the 49ers, but you have teams, like the Packers, the Saints, who, are up towards the top. The Vikings, I know they've made a ton of moves, but I expect them to be okay. Then you have the Seahawks in there. The Cardinals could be a sleeper team. Who else? If the Falcons can get their shit together, they'll be another interesting team. The Eagles, of course, maybe the Cowboys. It's an interesting NFC, to say the least. So let's look at who Tampa Bay actually plays next year. So they haven't announced the date, but for any of the games, but here's their opponents. So of course, Atlanta, Carolina, and New Orleans twice a year. They play at Chicago. No, they don't play at Chicago, do they? Yeah, they play at Chicago, at Denver, at Detroit. So we'll get to see Tom Brady against Matt Patricia again, which should be interesting. At the Giants, so he gets to play another one of his former coaches, Joe Judge. So that'll be interesting to see what happens there. Let's see, at Las Vegas. Vegas was a team that apparently was rumored to get Tom Brady. I'm glad they didn't, because to me that would have been a mistake based on the timeline of that team. Versus Green Bay. So we're going to see Tom Brady come to Lambeau to face off against Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. Didn't even think about that. Versus Minnesota, they get to play that Mike Zimmer defense. He's always got tricks up his sleeve on how to neutralize different quarterbacks. Oh, and they have to play Patrick Mahomes anyway, the Kansas City Chiefs, because one of the opponents, or one of the divisions that Tampa Bay has to face, along with the rest of the NFC South, is going to be the AFC West. So you have to face the Chargers, the Broncos, Raiders, and Chiefs. So you have to face all of them. And then, of course, the Rams is another team that they have to face. Sean McVay, Jared Goff, and all of them. So there's some intriguing opponents on this schedule, man. I don't know how good Tampa Bay is going to be, but this is definitely intriguing. But to me, I think this goes beyond football. I think, football-wise, we'll talk about why I kind of like it. But, there's probably other outside factors, such as his family. I'm not saying this is a big deal, but, to some people it is. No state tax, that's something. And, again, his family. If he would have played for the Chargers, if he would have signed to the Los Angeles Chargers, he would have to travel cross-country just to be in touch with his family, to be there with his family. Well, going to Tampa Bay, it's like a 2.5 hour flight from Tampa Bay to New York. So, or 2 to 3 hours, I don't know. But, you know what I'm saying? You don't have to fly cross-country to go see your family. You're right there based on where the New York home is. So, just very interesting. And then from a football standpoint, we've seen Bruce Arians work with the likes of Peyton Manning, Ben Roethlisberger, and Carson Palmer, these quarterbacks that can't move in the pocket, and they're all very different. Like Peyton Manning, of course, just kind of reckless abandon, but he was pretty good at everything. Obviously, Peyton Manning, one of the better quarterbacks to play the game. Big Ben, of course, a big arm quarterback. You know, can just shrug off defenders with these. And then you look at Carson Palmer, more efficient, doesn't really have like that it factor compared to the other quarterbacks. So Tom Brady, of course, bigger arm than people think, more of a precision passer. You know, he's also 42. He's also an older quarterback. We saw what Bruce Arians was able to do with Carson Palmer. He took that team to an NFC title game with an aging Carson Palmer. So I'm not saying that the same thing will happen with the Tom Brady-led Tampa Bay Bucks, but it is something to think about. Number 2, the weapons. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, O.J. Howard, Cameron Brate, and I assume they're going to take a running back in the second round. Maybe a Jonathan Taylor, DeAndre Swift, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. They're going to look to take a running back that will catch the ball out of the backfield. I'm leaning towards Clyde Edwards-Helaire as like that second round running back that they go after. But again, we'll see. And then another thing is the defense. The defense is pretty young, and it is up and coming. Todd Bowles, you know, the defensive coordinator in Tampa Bay, he's come in last year to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and he's done a good job already turning around this defense. Something that I talked about before last year, I believe. I talked about it with Mike Pettin of the Green Bay Packers. It's hard for a defensive coordinator to come into a new team, switch schemes, or implement new things to the same scheme and just get immediate success. Like, it just doesn't happen. Tampa Bay looked like a whole new defense out there. You had Devin White, Levante David playing in the middle, Shaq Barrett, who just had an awesome breakout season. They're going to expect big things out of him. A young secondary led by second rounders Sean Murphy-Bunting. You know, so like the secondary's young. It probably will be picked apart by those veteran quarterbacks like Tom Brady, or Tom Brady's actually there, excuse me, Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers. Like, they're going to get picked apart by those veteran quarterbacks, but, you know, maybe like Daniel Jones, maybe you can fool him into throwing a couple of picks or something. But, man, this is a very intriguing, like, option. Tom Brady going to Tampa Bay, TB going to TB. Literally writes itself. Very interesting. Again, I've seen people kind of question the fit. You know, if he's going to have success, listen, anywhere he would have went, you would have been asking the same question, except maybe Tennessee. You would have asked the same question with the Chargers. Well, their roster's stacked, but look who they have to go to twice a year. Patrick Mahomes. The Broncos, led by Vic Fangio. The Raiders, who are up and coming. And then, like, if he would have went, I don't know, to the Raiders, you would have been asking the same question. Well, they got to go through the Chargers, who are loaded on defense. They got to go through Patrick Mahomes twice a year. They got to go through Denver. You know, like, you would have been asking the same thing. Like, it wouldn't have mattered. Even if he would have went back to New England, it's like, well, last year your big problem was this, and the Patriots haven't done anything significant to fix your big issue. So, or the team's big issue. So, what's the point in coming back? You know, like, you would have been asking questions no matter what. So, like, to me, it's an intriguing fit. It's an intriguing destination. And that's all I have to really say. I don't think it's, like, great. We'll see if it ends up being great. I don't think it's terrible, but it's more intriguing than anything else. Again, sorry if I'm talking weird. I have this cut on my tongue. It's annoying. But hopefully you guys enjoy. Let me know how you feel about the Tom Brady to Tampa Bay news. The next video we'll be doing is about Stephon Diggs being traded to the Buffalo Bills. Until then, though, I'll see you next time. Peace.